Hello, welcome to the Church360 members training webinar for adding and updating people. Hi, my name is Rod Kiles and I am the Customer Onboarding Specialist for Concordia Technology Solutions. You can reach me one of two ways. You can reach me at rod.kiles@cph.org, and you can also reach me by phone at 314-268-1315. I kindly ask that you mute your phones or microphones and type any questions you may have into the question window. These questions are answered in order, and I do answer all the questions at the end of the session. So if you run into anything during the session that you'd like to ask, you could post that in the question window, and I'll make sure to answer that at the end of the session. So this session is set for 30 minutes, so I'm going to do my best to try to keep it to that time frame and answer any questions you have. So this webinar is broken into three parts, so we'll start out by going through our outline just to lay out the things that we're going to talk about. Then we'll transition over into Church360 members. Then we'll discuss all of the topics from our outline. Then we'll have our question and answer session at the end. So we're going to start out by going through an overview of the people view. So we'll discuss the like little features and functions inside of the people view. Then we'll the overview, I meant navigation inside of the people view. Then, so the overview is the navigation. Then we'll go into the people view and we'll discuss the navigation in the people view. Then we'll go into the household view and show adding people inside of the household view. And we'll go into the people view and show adding and updating information there. So we'll also, when we're talking about updating records, we'll say we'll go through adding new people into the system. We'll show changing membership status. We'll go through births and marriages. And we'll also discuss divorces and deaths. Then if you have any questions, you can definitely ask those and we'll have our question and answer session. So let's go ahead and if you're ready, I'm ready, let's get started. So we're going to go ahead and switch screens, and everyone should be able to see my Church360 members screen. And when you're on your Church360 members page, you'll have a subdomain, and mine is the demo site here. So this is a sample church that we have set up, and it'll have the subdomain name followed by .360members.com. Then in the middle of the window, you'll have your login screen. So you'll have a chance to put in your church logo, you'll have your church name, and then you can log in with your email address or username. So I have mine set up to where I can log in with a username, and then I can type in the password. If for some reason you forget your password, you can click on the Forgot Password link. That will take you to a different window where you can just simply enter in your email address and then click Continue, and then that will send the user a password reset. And so they'll receive that email inside of their email box, the one that they entered the email address for, and they'll click on the link inside of that email. That'll take them back to the website where they can reset their password. So there's also the Remember Me checkbox, and that just allows you to stay logged into the software. So if you check that, that keeps you logged in until you log out. So I've typed in my username and password, so I'm going to go ahead and click Login. When I click Login, that's going to take me to my default login page, and mine's currently set to the People view. Whenever you log into Church360 members, across the top is going to be your main menu bar, and it's going to start out with your church logo, and depending on which rights you have inside the software, you'll see people, events, attendance, offerings, and reports. Then on the right-hand side, you'll see your reminder bell, followed by your system gear or your settings gear, followed by your profile icon. Okay, and the reminder bell is used to view reports that you download within the system. So since this is a test site, we have quite a few that people have played with and downloaded. But anytime that you download a report, so a church directory, contribution statements, mail-in labels, the new attendance sheet report, Those reports, they're downloaded basically offline. So you send the request over to the server. The server will generate that report, and then it'll send the report back to your Church360 member site, and you'll have a little teal dot at the upper right-hand side when that report is created. So you can dismiss those reports by using the little X's here on the right-hand side, and that'll just get rid of them. So typically you wouldn't have this many reports inside your list. You would keep them maintained and cleaned up. Okay, and then the settings gear is going to be collections and admin items. The collections are going to be secondary helper items to your main menu area. So like if I'm dealing with people, then the pastoral visits, smart groups, Sunday school grades, and tags could help me in reporting and entering information about people. And then with the profile icon, that just allows me to jump directly to my profile, go to user settings, where I can change my email address and password or log out of the software. So here inside of the people view, I consider this view to be two views in one. So it's people and households. If I'm on the people view, the information that I see will be related directly to a single person, excuse me. And then if I'm on households, the information in the view will be grouped by household, and I'll be able to see each household and household-related information. Excuse me. On the right-hand side, I'll have a series of action buttons. There's Upload, which allows me to upload a vCard or a Shepherd Staff database. There's Download, which allows me to extract information from the system, so I can extract information to CSV or Excel. I can also download information to church directory contribution statements and mailing labels. And when I download that information, that's the information that shows underneath my reminder bell. Then I can also use print or saved reports. Print will print out a paper report for the information inside of my view, and save report will save any settings that I have showing here. So below that is showing 104 households in, and I have the option to select a filter. So if I just want to see members, I can use the three horizontal bars here to modify my selection, and I can also use columns to change the information that I see. So let's go ahead and pull up a person record so that we can see the information that's inside there. So I can do that by using type to filter. So I could, if I wanted to, I could use Sean here, and I could click on Sean's name. His record's pretty populated here. And when you're inside a profile view, you're going to see information like the person's name, their membership status, address, contact information like phone numbers and email addresses. Also, there's the family members and tags. Then running down the right-hand side, there's going to be more personal information like gender, ethnicity, birthday, baptism, confirmation dates. So you'll see the significant life events listed in this view. There's also a section for custom fields. So inside of our database, we have like elder territory, the first visit date, entering in occupation, and also favorite sport. And then down at the bottom, you'll notice these little arrows that point over to the right-hand side. Those arrows that point to the right, they allow you to jump to that part of the program. So if I need to fill in a person's envelope number, I can click on envelope number. If I need to view this person's attended, I can click on last date attended. View the last pastoral visit, I can click here. And then there's also offerings and pledges. So let's go ahead and let's go back to the people view, and we can do that by clicking people here at the upper left. And once I'm back in the people view, if I want to add somebody into the system, there's two ways of doing that. So one way is to use the new button here at the upper left, to the right of households here. And then that will allow me to add somebody into the system. The second way is to go to upload and to upload a vCard. And I'm going to show how to add people into the system both ways. So I'm going to show the vCard first, since that's the simplest, and then we'll come back and we will go through adding a whole family and the information into the system as well. So if I click upload and go to vCard, I'll receive this little modal that will allow me to choose a file. And from there, what I can do is I can select the vCard. Now, what is a vCard? A vCard is a virtual business card, and those can be created through most email programs. So if you use Microsoft Outlook or Gmail, those can create vCards, but also contact programs can do that as well. I noticed that with my cell phone, I have an Android phone, you can create a vCard through that as well, and I'm sure that you can do that with an Apple phone as well. So then that information can be sent to the church office, and then the vCard can be imported. So I'm going to import William Albers here and click open. And it's just going to show that the card is attached. And when I click open, it's actually going to create the person record, and it's going to create the household record. So that's a quick way to import somebody into the system. Also, over here on the right-hand side, there's a silhouette or profile. And if I click on that profile, I can import a file. And I'm going to show that here as well. So if I click on the image, notice that the image is a 1-to-1 ratio. So we suggest keeping all of your images the same ratio. 1-to-1 works best. That tends to be how the web works nowadays. But if you were going to go with horizontal, if you're going to go with portrait or landscape, making all of your personal photos portrait and all of your household photos landscape, that's fine as well. You just want to make sure to come up with a standard and stick with that standard. So I'm going to click open, and it's going to take just a second to upload. Once it's uploaded, I can click accept, and then that will attach the photo to that individual. So let's go back to the people view. And in situations where you don't have vCards, which would probably be the majority of them, to add somebody into the system, you would click the new button. And when you click new, you would simply type in the household name. And if this is going to be a household that's not in the system, you'll type the name and press enter. If this is a household that's already in the system, you can simply type the last name and then select the household that's already existing. So this is a brand new family. We're going to consider these people visitors right now. So I'm going to type Wilson and press enter. Then underneath name, I'm going to type each one of the family members' names. So one of the best practices is to make sure that I enter the family names in their household sequence order. So Jack, Nancy, then Matt, and Tiffany. Then once I type the names in, usually what I do at that point is I just go down the list and select the genders. Then it defaults to non-member. The system kind of assumes that at some point you're going to have all of your members entered into the system, and then you're just going to be adding in non-member visitors. So it defaults to non-member. If that person is a member, you just simply switch it over to yes. Then you'll have two options at the bottom. You'll have add and edit, and you'll have the option of add. If you click add, that will add the household, and it will add the individuals inside of that household. But if you click add and edit, it's going to do the same thing but take you over to the household view. So add will leave you inside, will add the records but leave you inside of this view. But if I click add and edit, that's going to add the records and take me over to the household profile view where I can go in and update additional information. Once I'm inside this view, the view is going to be broken into two sections. I call the top section the header section, and then the bottom section the body. So inside the header section, you'll have the household name block where you can click on the block and make changes. So the family name is going to be consistent. Most times you'll just use the last name of the family, but the addressee, which is your label name, that's subject to discussion typically. So it comes down to what type of information you want to print on your labels. So lots of times people will use the last name household, but your church may be the church that uses Jack and Nancy Wilson. Or you could do Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. or it could be the Jack and Nancy family. So whatever information you want to print on your label, that information can just be typed into the addressee. It is a free-flowing text field, so whatever you type in here will appear on your labels. Once you have the desired information inside of the field, just click outside the box. You'll notice a little green check that appears. That lets you know that the information was saved. So anytime you click outside the field, it does perform auto saving, so that information saves on its own. To the right hand side of Jack and Nancy Wilson, there's going to be downloads, download singular, and that allows you to extract information from the program as well. So any time you see the download button, that's going to be extracting information from the program. So there's export, which is going to export to CSV or Excel, and there's download, where you can print out mailing labels for this household. To the right of download is going to be print, and print allows you to print out a person records report. The silhouette allows you to upload the photo. Then, and this would be a household photo since we're currently inside of a household record. Below the silhouette here, there's going to be send newsletter, and that designates that this household is going to receive a newsletter. There is the option back on the people view that will allow you to print labels just for those who are marked as send newsletters. So anytime you're printing labels, you can go to downloads on the main view, click download, go to mailing labels, and then there'll be a checkbox that allows you to send newsletter. And that's when you're printing household labels. Then below that is never last visited. So last visited is going to be the last pastoral visit, and never means that a pastoral visit hasn't taken place yet. So let's go back to the left-hand side of the screen. And on the left-hand side of the screen, it's going to start out with your mailing address, and this is going to be in the body section of the view. And you can say no address, and if you click on no address, that allows you to enter the address into the system. So I'm going to enter in a bogus address here, so I'm going to say 1234 Street in St. Louis, Missouri, and then type in my zip code. And actually, let me use an address in our area. Okay, and once I type in the address, I'll have the choice to mark this address as unlisted, and I'll also have the choice to enter in an alternate address. So I can say my mailing address is different if this household is like snowbirds, so has snowbirds. So if I click outside the field, then the address is going to save, and a little Google Map icon will show up here. I can click on that link, and that will show the address. That will show a little map and show the address in. I can hover over that address and see the people who live there, and if there's other households in that area, they'll have little households there as well. Below mailing address is going to be phone numbers, and this is going to be where I can enter in the household phone number, and lots of times people nowadays consider this the phone number that would be the landline. If you have cell phones, you're just going to want to enter the cell phones into each one of their person records, and we're going to show that here in just a second. So I'm going to type in a phone number here, and I can mark that as unlisted and click add if I'd like. I could also enter in a household email address, and I can add in notes. So these notes are personal notes, and this would be a household note since we're in a household record. And when it comes to personal notes, this is a note. With those notes, I can specify who can see those notes based on the permission groups. So a permission group is going to be a collection of rights, and you'll assign the users of the software to a permission group. So with this, I could say that elders can see this elders can see this note, and pastors can see this note. Then I can click outside and click out and add note, and then that will add the note down here at the bottom. The last button on this side of the screen is going to be delete this household. And if I click delete this household, you'll notice how it says delete this household and the 4 people in it. So deleting information from the household view will allow you to delete the household and the people, and deleting information from the people view will just allow you to delete those people. So I'm going to click cancel here. Inside of the middle of the window, or in the middle of the window, there's going to be the members inside the household. Now, with these members, you'll notice these little 8 dots here on the left-hand side. If you click in this area, you can drag and drop and reposition the people inside of the household. So if Tiffany was really born prior to Matt, then you could drag and drop her name above Matt's name. And you'll also notice here on the right-hand side as I hover over the area that this little circle minus follows me, and that circle minus is for changing the person's relationship with the household, since we're inside the household profile here. So if I click on the circle minus for Matt, I'll have 2 options. I'll be able to remove him from this household, and I'll also be able to mark him as deceased. So if Matt Wilson really is not supposed to be in this household, then I can click remove. That will take him out of this household and actually automatically create a new household for him. So when it comes to people and households, everybody inside of Church360 members is going to be inside of a household. And for those people who are, well, I'm sorry, every single person inside of Church360 members is going to be inside of a household, regardless of the scenario. So you can take Matt out of this household by clicking remove. And we're going to show moving people between households here in just a second. So, and if I wanted to remove him, I'd click remove. So I'm going to click on the hyperlink here for Jack Wilson, and that's going to take us over to Jack Wilson's record. And you'll notice that the windows look very similar, but there are a few differences. When you go to the header block here at the top and I click on Jack Wilson, there's additional information, naming information, so I could enter in the title if I'd like, middle name. There's also a spot for maiden name and suffix, and if the person uses a preferred name instead of the legal name, you could add that information as well. So then I'm going to click outside of the block to save it. There's also download, but with the download here, you can download the V-card. You can also do contribution statements. So if I need to print out a single contribution statement for Jack Wilson, I can click on contribution statements. To the right of download is going to be print. That will allow me to print out a person record report. And this report's going to show Jack. It's going to show his contact information, any notes. It also show family members tags, and then other personal information here on the right-hand side. I'm going to close this window, and here on the left-hand side underneath mailing address, if I click on the name block, if I click on the address block, then I'm going to see the household address. If Jack is away for some reason, so say he would away in the military, then I could say Jack is away in the military and just change that, or Jack is in the military. And then I could type in the address where he's at, or I could type in the address and state that it's unlisted. And then when I click outside the block, that will automatically save this information. Here inside this window as well, I can add in Jack's family members. So earlier we showed that Jack is married to Nancy Wilson. So I could type in Nancy and that will find her record. I can click on her name, then I can specify her relationship. So this is how I would marry 2 people together. So I would mark her as the spouse and then click add. Then that will add her to his record. So it links the 2 together. Now you may notice that this looks very similar to what we were showing inside of the household profile record. With the household profile record, that shows who lives at that household. When you're looking at the person profile record, that shows who is related to you through marriage and I guess through blood. So it shows those relationships. So here you can enter in direct relationships. To enter in their married date, you can say enter date, and then from there you can specify the date that they were married. And then you can specify the year. Then all you do is click outside the box. It will save that date, and that would be the date that they were married. Then you would go through and add in the other family members. So we could add in Tiffany, say child, and we could also add in Matt. and say child, then do add. If they were to have another child, then you could say add relative. And let's say that they have a daughter named Stephanie. So I could type in the name Stephanie Wilson. Once I type in the name, I am going to have to press enter in this situation. Pressing enter will allow you to add in the person to the system. So this can be done from the profile view, but it can also be done from the household view. But the good thing about adding it from the profile view, it automatically gives you the chance to create the relationship. So I can say that Stephanie is also Jack's child. So here inside this view, this is showing Jack's relationship. So it's showing his wife, Nancy, daughter Tiffany, daughter Stephanie, and son Matt. Then if I click on Nancy's record, that's going to take me over to Nancy's record, and you'll see that it's only showing the direct relationship of Jack here, her husband. So I would also need to add the relatives here as well. So if this was a situation where Jack had 2 children prior to marrying Nancy, say those children were Matt and Tiffany, then we could just type Stephanie here and then say child and click add. Then we would see Stephanie. So when we were on Jack's record, I'm going to click on Jack, it would show Tiffany, Stephanie, and Matt. And then when we were on Nancy's record, it would just show Stephanie. And then that's the way we could tell the children from the prior relationship. So I'm going to go back to Jack's record here. And off to the right-hand side, there's going to be a circle minus. And if I click on that circle minus, that allows me to change the relationship. So if Jack and Nancy were to get divorced, I could click divorced, and that would add a row for divorced. If she passed away, I could click deceased. And also, if I needed to just break this relationship, I can click delete. Say I accidentally added Nancy to this record, and she wasn't supposed to be part of the record. So I'm going to close that. If Matt comes of age and he decides to move out, what I can do is I can go to Matt Wilson's record. Then I can go over here to the left-hand side, click on the address. Then at that point, I could click the drop-down list and select a household that I wanted him to move into if the household already exists, or I could click the new button. So if this is going to be a new house that's not in the system, say he goes away to college and we want to enter in that college address as a new location for Matt Wilson, I can click the new button. Then I can type in the address that I want that to be. So then when I click outside the box, that's going to add in the address, and I'll have all the features and functionality at this point within the system. And this is Matt Wilson's person record, so it'll also create a household record. You'll notice how it says the Wilson household. So in our other one, we updated to Jack and Nancy Wilson. So it's definitely a different household. So let's see. So running down the right-hand side here, there is going to be the option to fill in the appropriate gender. I can type in, or I can select any of the ethnicities from the drop-down list. There's also baptism, confirmation, and deceased. Right now, currently, it's showing Jack as a non-member. If he was a non-member visitor, I could add a tag in for visitor. And then when he became a member, I could simply use the little X to take the tag off of the name. Underneath Jack Wilson, you'll see how it says non-member. If I click the name, this tray will expand, and then I'll have the option to receive him as a member. And it'll select today's date. I can click over here to the left and click on Sunday if that's when it happened. Then I can also enter how he joined the church. If I select baptism or confirmation, then that is going to mark the baptism over here or confirmation over here on the right-hand side as of the date that I selected. I can also, when it comes to baptism and confirmation, if I don't know the date, I can simply check the little box here. and then that will mark them as being baptized or confirmed, and it'll also update their membership status. So he was a baptized member, now he's a confirmed member. If Jack leaves the church, I can also say remove from membership, then enter the date that he left the church and enter the reason why. Then there's also the option for a memo. If I add a record in by mistake, I can use the circle minus here on the right-hand side to delete that status. Below confirmation date, there's deceased, which is how I can mark somebody as deceased. So there's basically 3 places that you can mark somebody as deceased. Below that is going to be grade, which would be your Sunday school grade. Then there's the custom fields, which I can fill those in, and then there's the additional information like envelope number, last date attended, last date of a pastoral visit, offerings, and pledges. So that is the information that I have to provide for this training. If you have any questions, you can definitely post those in the question box. Let me switch back to my PowerPoint. And do you have any questions? And before anybody drops off, let me go ahead and read the thank you message, and I'll answer any questions that may appear. I do want to thank everybody for attending. We really hope that you enjoyed this class, and outside of the question and answer session, if you have any further questions, please give us a call at the 1-800-346-6120. Or you can shoot us an email, of course, at support@cts.cph.org.